Hey everyone, Gabriel with Gabriel's Hobby Studio here. With 2020 now in hindsight, I am looking over the channel, my hobbying, and everything that I have learned over this last year of hobbying on YouTube. As I'm speaking about the channel and my first year of YouTube, I will be showing clips and pictures from along the way. First, I want to give a huge thanks to all of my subscribers. It's because of you that I keep on making content. I should have just started this sooner. I've been thinking about doing YouTube for years and years, but I've always put it off. I was hit hard with imposter syndrome and GAS, or gear acquisition syndrome. Can you even get imposter syndrome before you do a thing? Anyway, what does this have to do with a channel reflection? I started to make videos for this channel in late November or early December of 2019, but didn't actually start any semblance of video production until January of 2020. I didn't even officially register the channel until late February and didn't release my first video until April. I had a very slow start. So what exactly has been accomplished this year? Well, before getting into models and projects, I did have to learn quite a bit before I could bring any pixels to your eyes. I built myself a hobby space in my basement, something that's still not finished and is actually going to be changing soon. I taught myself how to use my Galaxy S7 and Galaxy Crayon Prime phones as cameras to make my videos, and I learned how to use Blender and DaVinci Resolve for video editing. Can you pinpoint when I switched from Blender to Resolve? The answer will be at the end of the video. I researched the daylights out of everything that I could get my hands on. I knew it would be a lot, but I didn't understand just how much until I was neck deep in it. On to models and projects and things that I've completed for the channel this year. It all started with some painting and kit bashing of Beastmen for my Necromunda game. I had a blast with these, especially that Pit Fighter build. I still haven't been able to use him in a game yet, though. In May, I wrapped up the Pit Fighter by painting him. I split that video up because I felt that it was just too long for one video, and I didn't quite yet have a grasp of video editing like I do now. I wouldn't say that I'm good at video editing yet, but I do know more than I did then. So I split that video up so that way people could watch whichever part they were interested, either the build or the painting part. July was really busy for me. I was experimenting with patinas for the better part of the month, and maybe a little bit into June as well. I used these solder couplings, which unfortunately have since been phased out of Menards, to make some painted barrels and to patina them. Since they're made of copper, I figured it'd be fun to try going au natural with their coloring. And then August. It was a bit of a whiff to me at first. I made some trees using garlands, and I finally painted the mule transport model after it had been living in my drawer of shame for 8 or more months. Neither of these videos really worked out as I had planned them, and I was constantly messing up. Until my travel box video, but I had made that before, so I already had a plan and was just improving upon my prior design. The Chaos Altar was a lot of fun. I had forgotten how much fun making terrain was after I'd been doing only mini assembly and painting for so long. October was when I first started to see a real boom in the channel. Not so much for the first video of the month with my DIY tutorial about pigment powders and contrast medium, but it was the Orktober video where I scratch built an orc truck that really took off. That build was amazing, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. There are some things that I had wished I had done differently, but everyone usually feels that way after they look back on a project. Going over all the videos that I've done the entire year, that orc truck video is definitely my most viewed, and it's my best video. It is completely different than anything that I had done up to this point, and I had a lot of fun doing it. Going back and analyzing it, I can actually see the fun comes across in the entire video, whereas my other ones felt like I was having fun, but I didn't put the fun in the video. Does that make sense? I did also dabble in doing some unboxings. I unboxed the Space Marine Heroes Series 3, the Plague Marines, and I finally got my hands on the floor tile set from Necromunda after they had been out of stock for so long. I'm not sure if these unboxings are something that I'm going to continue to do, but please do let me know if you would appreciate me to do more unboxings in the future, or if I should just stick to building and painting. After 2020 ended, I felt that I needed a break for a couple weeks. It also lined up with the holidays and some vacation that I was taking from my full-time job. I am working on revamping a lot of my processes and am actually on the move a little bit. My hobby station that you've seen in all my previous videos will be moving to another location. I may have 1 or 2 more videos in that space prior to the actual transition, but once that move starts, I'll be unable to make new build videos for a while, but I do plan on doing some short progress or update videos, or even some live streams of me working in the new space and getting it set up and ready to go. The move isn't very far, but I will need to build some of the infrastructure for the new hobby and recording station, and I will have to figure out how best to use the space. Now, if you've stuck around to this point, I asked you a question earlier. Can you pinpoint when I switched from using Blender to DaVinci Resolve? If you said how to make the DIY miniature storage trays and box video, then you were right. That's the first video that I did entirely in DaVinci Resolve. Everything prior to that was in Blender, and for a couple of videos prior to that, namely the pack mule and the trees, I did a little bit in there, but was on a time crunch and had to switch back to Blender because I knew it and could get through everything faster. So if you've stuck around to this point in the video, I would really like to thank you for sticking around and viewing as much of this as possible. I do have some questions for you guys, and I would really appreciate your input. I've been thinking for a while on whether or not I should start a Patreon, or if that's something that you think I could offer to you. I'm not quite sure what it is that I could offer, and that's why I wanted to ask you. I do have some ideas, but I would really appreciate your input. Please let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are about me starting Patreon. If you have any suggestions for what I could offer as tiers for you guys, what would you feel is of value to you? Again, thank you so very much for spending the time that you have on this video and spending the time to comment below. If you enjoyed this content and would like to see more, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you can be notified when I post new videos. As always, have fun, be creative, and happy hobbying.